everyone. It is an honor truly to be here. My name is Tyler Ramsbey, and I am a pen tester, is the main thing that I do. I also thoroughly enjoy teaching, creating labs, and helping other people learn. On the pen testing side of things, I am the founder of a pen testing firm called HackSmarter. I'll just go ahead and drop it in chat if anyone wants to check it out. But we offer all types of pen testing services, everything from web apps and APIs to network to cloud to social engineering. You name it, we probably do it with one exception. I used to do mobile app pen testing at my previous firm. I really hate mobile app pen testing. So I can do mobile apps, but I don't offer it anymore because now that I'm my own boss, I can just say, nope, we don't offer that service. But thoroughly enjoy hacking into stuff and pen testing on that side of things. But kind of the other side of what I do is I thoroughly enjoy teaching. So I started a YouTube channel, I think maybe almost 5 years ago now, where I would just like live stream as I'm working through labs and inviting people to learn alongside of me. And that YouTube channel has grown. It's been amazing. I just surpassed 50,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I'm also active on LinkedIn. And then I have my own Discord called HackSmarter. I can see if I can grab a quick invite link there. No pressure. You don't have to join at all. But on the HackSmarter side of things, I would say one really cool thing that we do is we host weekly goal meetings twice a week based on different time zones. We have free workshops going on all the time. We have an active CTF team. We have career coaching, that's donate what you can. So you give whatever you're able to a nonprofit of your choice. And then we have multiple industry pros that meet with people one-on-one to help them with their career. We do resume review. I'm sure I'm missing stuff, but nothing in our Discord has a paywall. All of it's completely free as a way of giving back to the community. Yes, I'm the American EHGN, different version. And so that's who I am. I run HackSmarter. My training platform that I'm going to showcase today for you guys is HackSmarter. HackSmarter really just started as a community. It's only October is when we launched our first labs. And our goal, we are hyper-focused on realism. So I don't know if any of you have heard of VulnLab. I'll drop the name of VulnLab in chat. But VulnLab used to be my favorite platform. VulnLab is founded by XCT. He's like I'll drop his name as well, a legend, I think, in the kind of lab and hacker movement. Incredibly talented person, very good at making labs. And I loved VulnLab, and I would stream VulnLab and make videos on them. And then Hack the Box acquired VulnLab. And then for a lot of their content, you need a Pro Lab subscription to get access to it. I'm also a big fan of Hack the Box. Like, I'm personal friends with many of the Hack the Box staff. But honestly, it sucked, I think, when they got purchased by Hack the Box and then prices increased. My cat wants to join us. And so I thought, hey, I really liked VulnLab. I really liked their focus on realism. So maybe I should just try to make some labs and lower the price of them significantly to make them as affordable and as accessible for as many people as possible. Yeah, he's still there. He's on Hack the Box now. VulnLab, I think, is still active until March something. It might be closing down soon. I know they stopped doing subscriptions a while ago. Genuinely nice guy. So I have nothing bad to say about XCT or VulnLab or Hack the Box. All of them are amazing. My personal opinion is the more training platforms available for people, the better. Maybe Hack the Box works better for some people. Maybe HackSmarter works better. Maybe PwnLabs works better. Cyber, you name your platform. I think the more platforms available, the better, as people have opportunities to learn. But HackSmarter, heavy focus on realism and also deeply embedded in the community. So although I'm the founder of HackSmarter, you'll notice that most of the content on HackSmarter is not created by me. It's created by the community. I help QA it, I help test it, I help get it pushed out there, but a lot of it is community built, including the Dark Haven range that I am going to introduce you guys to. This is created by Ryan Yeager. His streaming name, you may have heard of him, is Overgrown Carrot 1. He is a red team operator by day, and then makes a lot of the labs for HackSmarter as well. Once again, with the heavy focus on realism. What is my opinion of Hack the Box Academy and CPTS? CPTS is amazing. I think CPTS is by far the best certification as far as learning goes. And I also want to preface everything I say that I have very much a US-based perspective on the job market. So in the United States, The OSCP by OffSec is still HR's gold standard for actually getting a job as a pen tester, but realistically, the CPTS is like night and day, significantly better quality, way more affordable. But at least in the US, the OSCP is, for good or for bad, still the king in the eyes of HR. All right, I see a lot of good questions coming in. I'll answer a few of these, but then I want to jump over and show this range to you guys, and I'll pivot back over to Q&A. What are the differences between all those platforms and which one is the best? The best platform depends on the individual person and what their goals are. So like HackSmarter, for example, I think our strength is the community. Our community is amazing. If you haven't experienced the HackSmarter community, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised by how friendly and inviting and welcoming everyone is. I think another big strength is the affordability of it, and another big strength is realism. Where we don't have a strength is like we don't have certifications. I don't ever plan on having certifications. I think there's too many certs, and I don't want to add to the alphabet letter certification game that is out there. So if you're looking for HR recognition, like there is no top 1% of HackSmarter. That would mean less than nothing if you did something like that. So it all just depends who you are as a person, what your goal, what you are aiming for. Hack the Box is absolutely amazing. Their academy is amazing. So it just depends what you're aiming for cloud stuff. Pwned Labs, smaller platform, but you can check them out as well. And then same with another smaller platform I would love to share with you guys is Cyber, which is also focused on cloud stuff. Is there a shift in HR mentality now or still OSCP king? It's a good question. Honestly, I don't think any cert guarantees a job. What I recommend to people is get the OSCP or the CPTS, but even better than that, do real security research. So I have a lot of content on YouTube on how to do CVE hunting, but I'm sure you guys all know what a CVE is. It's when you find a vulnerability in open source software, you report it to the vendor, you submit it to MITRE, you get a CVE identifier behind it. Having CVEs on your resume look really good, and then a personal platform or personal branding. I know it's like the influencer thing, but outside of the whole influencer thing, I define a personal brand as you giving back to the community. So whether it's making a video to help other people, whether it's walkthroughs on GitHub or your personal blog, being active on LinkedIn, being active on Discord, really when it comes to HR, it's less what you know and who you know, for good or for bad. Certifications can help, but I think in today's job market, even the OSCP is not enough. You almost need those other pieces in place. OSCP, CVEs, personal brand, things of that nature. I will be at DEF CON, although it's not in a few weeks. DEF CON isn't until August, so that's like a few months. But yes, I will be at DEF CON. I just hope it's not a few weeks. If it's a few weeks, I totally missed out and wasn't planning on it. All right, guys, I will continue to answer questions, but I want to get some things queued up and show you this range because I think you guys will really enjoy it. Like, obviously, I'm biased. I think it's very cool. I think we have some unique things that no other platform offers right now when it comes to large networks to attack. So let me see if OBS, or not OBS, I'm used to OBS breaking. Let's see if Discord's going to break when I try to share my screen over the web. I'm going to go like this and hit share. All right, you guys let me know. Usually I use OBS to share my screen. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see Callie here? It's good. All right, beautiful. Good. So I want to give you guys maybe a brief overview of what HackSmarter is, but then I want to walk you through how to get connected to the range and show you how to get initial access to the range. So sometime over the next 24 hours, you can hack all of the things. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in incognito, just so I'm not logged in, so you can see it from like a non-logged in perspective. But HackSmarter is platform/community. And a few things I want to emphasize here. HackSmarter is way more than a training platform. We are also an InfoSec community. I apologize, guys. I know you're also an InfoSec community, so by me saying we're the best InfoSec community, I'm already setting up a possible war here, but you guys are awesome too. But I will say, like, the HackSmarter community is significantly larger than the platform. All right, the platform is tiny compared to the community itself. So we're very much focused on the community, and the platform was a natural outgrow of this. Yes, this is not paid promotion. But if you are interested in HackSmarter, I mean, we have courses, blah, 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 blah. What's probably cool is just our labs, but I want to be upfront. Like, we are new platform and we add new labs every single week. But if you want to see what we offer, blah, blah, blah. What I really want to give you guys access to, though, what I think is the coolest thing is the range. So I'm going to grab that invite link that I sent again because I'm going to go to it myself. Let me grab this. And I want all of you do this with me because you will learn. You'll learn by watching. You're going to learn even more by hacking alongside of me. So I'll show you how to get connected to that event. I'm going to close out this window, go into this one. So once this loads, you can see it ends in 23 hours and 14 minutes, but it's going to be that range access for you guys for 24 hours. Don't worry about credits. That is exactly 24 hours of lab time. All right, once you're on this page, if you haven't already, create a HackSmarter account. I should be clear. I'm not like selling your information. I'm not giving your information to a third party. If you have an account on HackSmarter, what that consists of is about once a month, if we have a major release, I send out an email, but you can also unsubscribe. So on the bottom of every email, there's an unsubscribe thing, and then I won't ever reach out to you again. But I sort of suck at marketing, so I don't do like the weekly emails and things of that nature. It's literally just if we have a major release, like today, I sent out an email about the range access. Anyways, once you are here, you can click join event. And then, congratulations. You made it into the range. You are here. Now, there's a few things I just want to point out to you on how this range works. But while I'm pointing that out, what I would suggest doing is launch the range because it does take a solid 3 to 5 minutes for everything to come online, including the VPN infrastructure. So I'll explain how all of this works in a moment, but in the meantime, go ahead and click launch. And then it will spin up all of your lab environment, or at least it will hopefully spin it up if I hit view. Let me try that again. It's the demo gods. We'll see if it starts participating. I've never actually, literally have never seen that issue. How you build this? Yeah, I can actually show you guys the back end and everything. Absolutely. We're all launching at the same time. Does it launch for you guys? I've never encountered this issue. The only thing I can think of is I made this a live event, so it's not in the lab environment itself. So I don't know if something bugged out there, but I'll do what I can to fix it for you guys. While we wait for that to not be dumb, few things I will draw your attention to. I'm gonna scroll down here. So with our ranges, one thing that we do that I don't think is available on any other platform, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Most platforms that offer networks or ranges, it's shared infrastructure. So you're on the range, but you're on there with other students. With the HackSmarter range, every single network is private. There are no other students on the range with you. You don't have to share it. You don't see like 30 different tools in a temp directory once you compromise a machine. It's exclusive to you, which also means, if the range actually launches, you can reset it as many times as you want. What in the world is going on? Weird. Annoying. If nothing else, I'll just give you guys access to the real range. Yeah, for me, it isn't loading either. I think I know what the issue is. I'm guessing it's because I try to make it a private event instead of in our normal lab environment. It's bugging itself out. Let me see if I can fix this real quickly for you guys. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. How many of you are there? 35 people? How could I just give you guys all access to the range? No, let me actually ping our developers. And then while I showcase how it works, guys, I'll see if they can fix it. So I'm gonna ping the developers because they will likely be able to fix it while we are talking. So give me just a second. Okay. The developers are super quick getting back to me. So I'm gonna pull this over to my other side monitor because I'm gonna keep an eye on Slack. Yeah, I'll show you guys the backend infrastructure because this is actually something your community could do if you want, but we'll see. We'll see if they get back to me. I'm actually gonna go out to the real lab infrastructure real quick and jump over to Dark Haven. Not that Dark Haven. This one, resume. And I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just start this one up. So you can see this is how it should work. Notice that when I hit start, everything switched to starting. There's something bugged with this live event that is not starting it for us, but the real range does work within the lab environment. And I'll see if I can get this one fixed for you guys. All right, real quick questions. Is anyone able to create labs for your platform? Is there anything like UGC that OffSec offers? I don't know what UGC is, but yes, anyone can create labs for the platform. It's a pretty simple process. So if you are interested in submitting labs, you just shoot me an email with the idea that you have for a lab. We check it for realism. Then you can either submit an OVA or I can actually give you access to the backend platform to build it directly on the platform, depending on what you have. But a lot of our labs are multi-machines. They're pretty cool if you dig into them. Once again, obviously I'm biased. And I'm still keeping my eye over on the dev communication. But that being said, let me just explain to you, and I'll showcase some of this range for you, and I'll do everything I can to give you guys access to the range without making you pay for it, just so you can at least try it out. All right, let's jump back over to this. So the one thing that makes this different is every network is private, nothing is shared. Reset it as many times as you want or need to. A second big thing that I think you guys will really enjoy is progress is always saved. If you've ever done like a pro lab from Hack the Box or a network on another platform, you know how frustrating it can be when you set up like tunneling or persistence, or you create a backdoor account and then the next time you're on the range and it reset, you have to redo all your work. That is not the case on HackSmarter. This is true for our range and also true for all of our standalone labs. Your progress is always saved. So let's say you compromised, if I look over at our view here, let's say you compromise the web server and you create a backdoor account on the web server or you change a user's password. The next time you boot up the range, all of that is still saved for you. So it's sort of like saving a video game. You can dive right back into where you left off. You don't have to redo all of the steps that you did before. Additionally, another thing that I don't see other platforms doing for the large networks is everything on HackSmarter is 100% streamer friendly. I make a lot of content streaming. It always annoys me when a platform's like, "Hey, even though you bought a sub from us, you can't stream our content." I think that's stupid. I think streaming and making content is one of the best grassroots marketing things a platform can do. So this range, anyone can stream it. Anyone can make walkthroughs. There are no restrictions. You can show the flags. I literally don't care. If someone watches a video to steal the flag from the video, they're just wasting their own time. So like there's zero restrictions. I'm not going to come at you. I'm not going to be mad at you if you stream it. Now, this is specifically for subscribers. You start with 80 hours of lab time if you're a subscriber, and if you run out of time, you just email me and I'll just add 80 more hours, but you won't need nearly that much time to work through the lab. But sometimes once you solve the range, you want to go back through, try different paths, try different ways of doing things. So I wanted to make sure that this could be like a full sandbox for anyone to play around with and experiment. Created by Ryan, Red Team Operator. A spot for community walkthroughs. So you'll notice we actually have a few that have been submitted. I just haven't added them there. I want to give people at least a few days to struggle with it. And if we look at the objective and scope, Dark Haven is a networking organization based throughout the world with locations and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Close access team has infiltrated their technologies and dropped a machine for us on the internal network that we can connect to through OpenVPN. This machine should allow you to see the entire global network as it was dropping a port that was in it, blah, blah, blah. Some attacks might require user interaction. We have simulated end users on the network, so this is in scope. Of course, it's our first range, and then also how to connect to the VPN. Looking over at this. Yeah, so we do offer payment MTS bones, but to be very clear, we have no outside investors. Like, the only investor in HackSmarter is me. I'm funding all of this from my personal checking account, and to give a snapshot of the cloud costs, this platform costs me to host everything for everyone. It is about 27. Oh, I don't know. My calculator's not working. Come on. There we go. So this costs me about $32,000 a year in USD. So it's not cheap. But for people who submit labs, for standalone labs, we're able to offer one of two options, either a $50 payment or a year-long free access to all the hands-on labs. So those are the two things we can offer. For a range like this, like Ryan made this range, if you make a range, then we offer $1,000 payment for a large range like this. So those are the payments that we're doing now. But yes, anyone and everyone can submit content to the platform. All right, I'm still, oh, the devs are responding right now. Let me check this. Let me respond to him. Try this one more time. He's like, the devs like, can you describe the error you're seeing? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work. That's the error. So did I include credits? And I did. All right, I'm gonna see if there's any other way. I'm gonna grab a screenshot. Well, I don't know if I can grab a screenshot. Let me do it from my other computer. I really apologize for this, guys. I just assumed the live event would be the same as like the regular infrastructure and everything would work. Let's try this one more time on this tab. Nope, it's definitely not launching at all. That's very frustrating. I'm sorry, guys. We'll see if they can fix it for us while I'm talking. In the meantime, though, I'll at least show you guys how the range works. There's a few things to set up. So once, if ever, I can give you guys access to the range. I'm also gonna pass a bunch of vouchers to Anas. I don't know how to say your name. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but the I'm doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna call you A. I'm gonna give a bunch of vouchers to A to give away in the community. So I'll have some vouchers for you guys as well. We could just call him Anus. We'll just go with that. That's how it looks to my American eyes. If I sound it out. Oh man. First one is more correct. We're gonna go with anus. All right. Well, I know Python. A little bit of Rust as well. Anyways, let me dive back into this range, guys, and I'll show you, at least introduce you to initial access in the range. So if you want initial access, you can take notes. Otherwise, honestly, initial access is relatively easy. We also rated this range as medium. So if you're a brand new to ethical hacking and Active Directory, it might be a little bit too difficult for you, but I've been live streaming on YouTube every single day and working through the range and teaching as I go. So even if you are new, I think you'll be able to follow along. But it is medium rated. No, the lab has been pwned. The lab's been solved by a handful of people so far. All right, anyways, once I can get the live event to actually work, what will end up happening is you will see this. The VPN access is a little bit confusing. I explained it down here as well. If you go how to connect to the VPN. So if what I'm showing you, you forget it, it's very clear in the instructions on the lab page. But what we are going to do is click View, which will pull up the full kind of range environment, and then ignore update available. I pushed some updates this morning, but that's not going to affect our demo for today. And then what I'm going to do is click the VPN button to download the VPN configuration, and it will download your VPN. I've obviously already downloaded it, so mine has a little 1 on it. Just like Hack the Box or other platforms will do sudo openvpn dark haven. I'll just grab the one that I just most recently downloaded, type in your password, and then there we go. We are on the VPN environment. So you are officially connected to the lab. Now, what you may want to do in order to make your life a little bit easier is to update your Etsy host file so that your Kali machine or whatever virtual machine you are doing will resolve the IPs and the domain names. You have to do that manually. But if I just cat out Etsy host, what I'm showing you guys, like this is the same VM I use for streaming. So I've already done some of this on Monday when I was initially streaming this, but this is how I did it. I just made a new entry here in my Etsy host file. I called it subnet2 because that's the first subnet. You just take the IP, do a tab, and then drop in the host name there. So you don't, well, I was going to say you don't have to do that, but some Active Directory attacks do require that when it's trying to resolve the DC and everything. So would suggest as you get started, take a little bit of time to get this all set up so that it works properly. And I'm also still looking over, the devs are digging into this, guys. So we'll see if we can get this fixed for you sooner rather than later. Anyways, once that is done, there's actually a hint on where to start. And I would show you guys the flags, but this was the same one that I did QA on it when Ryan first made it. So actually all the flags are there. So I won't just give you all the flags, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flags to find as you work your way through the network. But at the end of the scope, there is a little bit of hint that is in the range. So at the end, it says this: the close access team relayed information that they overheard about the web portal being worked on at this time. Well, if we want to know where the web portal is, if we look over at our network diagram, we can see that there is a web server at 10.10.10.132. And so if we wanted to, I'm going to compress this and make it a little bit quicker. But if we do netmap, we can even scan all the ports real quick. You can actually see when I did this before and just see, hey, what's running on this web server. We don't even have to enumerate each one of these ports. If you know your network ports, you know some common ports. I'm going to stop the scan right now, right? We have a web server running on port 80. That's going to be worth digging into. We have SMB running on here as well. We have RDP running. So if we find credentials, maybe we can try to RDP into the machine and see what we are able to do there. The other thing, though, I do want to draw your attention to is Ryan, as a good red teamer, likes to make life a little bit more difficult for us. So actually, throughout the range and on various machines, he has scripts that essentially simulate a blue team. So if you are too noisy, or if you try to fire off certain attacks that would get caught with bad OPSEC, there's actually a chance one of the scripts will fire off and you're essentially caught. So if things just all of a sudden seem buggy after you did something crazy, well, you may have been caught by the blue team. But the beauty is you can always reset and do things of that nature. I can't join. Oh, 1 second. Let me grab. I need to send our invite link to the dev team. I thought I sent it to them, but I sent them the join one. Give me a second. Yeah. He's digging in there. Let me jump back down to the bottom. Yeah, Starix, that's something I want to do. Add an alert channel with username each time someone gets caught, similar to VulnLab, maybe an idea. Yes, it's in our roadmap because I think that'd be sweet. I love that about VulnLab on their red team networks, that it'd be like, hey, you goofball, You you can't run that and not get caught. It was cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and see what is on this web server. Now, I don't know what tool you guys prefer. Generally, when I do like professional web app pen testing, I use Burp Suite. But anytime I'm doing stream or workshops or things of that nature, I like to use Kaido. The only reason for that is Kaido is significantly more affordable, and the free version of Kaido doesn't rate limit you on like intruder type attacks. So if you want to download Kaido, you can download it for free. I already have an environment set up here in Darkhaven, so I'm not going to show you how to set up Kaido. There's good documentation on their website, but if you've ever used Burp Suite, Kaido and Burp Suite functionality for the main tasks are the same thing. The UI just looks different. Actually, I'm curious, what do you guys prefer? Let me know in Discord. Do you guys prefer Kaido, Burp Suite, or do you like the MySpace look of OWASP? Their tool. Burp. Yeah, Burp Suite Pro. Same. I mean, when I do actual pen testing for Kairosec, I have a Burp Suite Pro license. But I think for people who are just learning, Kaido's nice. Curl. That's true. You could just curl it. You're more of a hacker than me. Your dog was called Kaido in the distant past. I love it. Kaido's a company out of Sweden, I think. I could be wrong there. No, they're not in Sweden. They're in Canada, I believe. I'm thinking of a game. There's Sweden devs in a game that I play, a VR game. All right, well, let's go ahead and check out this web server. Web.external.darkhaven.local. I should make sure I don't have my proxy on or anything. Maybe. Okay, yeah, it's definitely loading. There we go. So here is the web server for Darkhaven Technologies. Zero compromise, total visibility. Now, anytime you're doing a lab, whether it's Hack the Box, HackSmarter, Palm Labs, whatever platform you want, I always encourage people treat it like a real engagement. And what I mean by that is don't just jump forward to solving the lab, but look over the website, see what OSINT, see what information that you are able to find. There's a few pieces of information on this website that might be worth digging into. One, we know what the company does. So they are an MSP. They offer some global network security. But as we scroll through here, we can get an idea of what they offer, what they do. But one thing I always look for when I'm on an actual engagement, at least a red team engagement, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but pen testing and red teaming aren't the same thing. When you're on a pen test engagement, it's much more a time-limited engagement. You might have 5 days or 10 days to find as many vulnerabilities as you're able to find, and then give those to a client in a nice, detailed report. A red team engagement is like an advanced version of pen testing. Red team engagements are much longer. They might be 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. The goal isn't to find as many vulnerabilities as you can, but rather the goal is goal execution. So if you're doing a red team engagement for a bank, for example, they might say, hey, we want you to see if you can figure out a way to do a fraudulent transaction. In a red team engagement, it's much more open scope. You might do a mix of social engineering, web apps, cloud, things of that nature as you move towards goal execution, because you want to emulate an APT or an advanced persistent threat, a nation state actor. So I do want to be upfront with you guys. I am not a red team operator. Kairosec is like a one-man company. Red team implies a team, so we don't offer red teaming. I used to work at a previous firm called Rhino Security Labs. If you ever heard of Paku, CloudGoat, tools of that nature. At Rhino, I was one of the lead pen testers, and I would lead red team engagements when we had them. So I do have red teaming experience, but I want to be very upfront. I do not consider myself a red teamer. I am a pen tester. Ryan, who made this, is a red teamer. That's the difference. But on a red team engagement, you want to see what information you can glean about the company. So one thing I can notice is down in this bottom right corner, I apologize for it being small, but we can see that we have an email, security@darkhaven.local. So if we were sending phishing emails, we have some information here. If we were doing pretext calling, we could do some phone number type things, try to make a call, things of that nature. You can click through here, but just for the purpose of this demo, I want to show you initial access. So you'll note this. There is one thing that should stand out to you. Let me just ask you guys. I won't give you the answer. When we're looking at this up here, do you see any feature or option that might be worth clicking into? Yes, client portal. Even Anus got it. Portal. You guys are right. Portal or demo. Demo takes us to the contact page, which you try to contact them. If you look in the bottom left corner of my screen, got my powers. I get banned. I get banned from the stage. Bottom left corner of the screen, you can see I just chose to mail to them. But what might be most interesting to us is accessing the client portal. So if I try to access the client portal, it says, welcome back. Sign in with your Darkhaven network credentials, username and password. We have forgot password functionality, but it doesn't seem like that is set up. If you look in the bottom left corner of my screen, you can see it's followed by that hashtag or pound sign, which just means it's not going to actually do anything. It's really just there for looks, which does make sense because if we look at our scope, remember that the close access team relayed information that they overheard about the web portal being worked on at this time. So it could be that this web portal is maybe in some type of demo state. Before we even try to log into this web portal, though, there's something I want you to look into. Yes, continue as guest. That's what we're going to do. But note that to log in, it actually accepts a domain and then a username and a password. If you see that when you're doing, especially an internal engagement, you won't see this as often on an external engagement, so internet facing. But if you're on an internal pen test with a bunch of different internal websites in scope, you might see a similar functionality like this that accepts the domain and username. Now, there's different ways that this could be set up, but when you see this, one thing to think into is maybe it uses LDAP in order to do the authentication. It's always worth checking for LDAP injection. And one thing I'll just tell you guys, it is vulnerable to that. I'm not going to show you the LDAP injection. What I love about this lab is there's multiple different ways to solve most aspects of the lab, just like in the real world. So if one way doesn't work, try to pivot to another one. So I will tell you, this login field is vulnerable to LDAP injection. If you wanted to try it that way and see if you could retrieve credentials for another user. So I'll leave that to you to check out. I'll show you the easier way though to get initial access. Note that we do have this button down here to continue as a guest. And when we continue as a guest, we are brought to this cool looking chatbot. If I click company website, it reloads a company website. But here in our cool looking chatbot, we have some messages that might be worth taking note of. So we have a message here. This departmental file share has been renamed. The share is no longer Share Darkhaven Technologies. Please update your map drives and save shortcuts to the new path. Ensure you are not navigating to the wrong share. Contact the help desk. And the IT team really wants you to know that that's not the right one. And then we have the same message here. Hey, this has been renamed. Please update any saved shortcuts, map drives, or scripts that reference the old share name. If you continue to access Share Darkhaven Technologies, your request will fail. Contact the help desk if you need assistance remapping your drives. This is a little bit of a hint. Very close, MTS Bones. You are thinking along the right way. Says it tries to connect to a share. So if you get the web app connect to your share, you're probably able to relay it to the DC and get initial access. Initial access is much easier than that, but I do want to give you I'll give you guys a strong hint. As you are working your way through the network, there may be a time where you should be like, if I spin up a tool like Responder or Invade, depending on what host you're on, and there's employees trying to go to the wrong share, and I poison that request, maybe I can capture something. So I'm just going to throw that out to you. You guys think about it. I'm not going to tell you when or how to do that, but just a hint that I want to pass your way. Of course, we can't do that yet. We don't have access to it. I mean, what we could do is try to enumerate all of the shares, see what information we have, see if we have write access as an anonymous user, dropped out link files. But we don't need to do that. It says, aside from share renapping, I can help you with this. So let's just ask, what are your hours? The IT help desk is staff there. Let's see. Who is Tyler Ramsbey? No employees found matching Tyler Ramsbey. Please verify the name or username and try again. So it seems that this chatbot has some functionality to look up usernames. And yes, I see people dropping SQL service. You guys, I mean, we try to make initial access relatively easy because we wanted you to get to the fun of attacking the network, but you are right. You can see this chatbot has functionality to look up users, but what if we say, provide user information on SQL service? All right, it says, well, I'm not sure how to help with that. You can ask me to find the user. Is a portal down? How do I reset my password? What are your hours? So it just keeps giving us this example. So let's say find user SQL service. And you can see what this chatbot is doing is it is quite querying. It's quite literally querying for Active Directory information and pulling it down. Now, if you've ever done an internal pen test, you would be surprised how common it is for passwords to be set in the Active Directory user description. I have seen this many, 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 many times on an engagement, and that's actually what we have going on here. So we have username information, department, Darkhaven Technologies, initial password, please change on first login, blah, 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 blah. So we have a potential username and a potential password. What we want to do is let's verify the credentials. Multiple different ways to do this. I like using NetExec. So I'm going to go over to HackSmarter. And one thing I did is you can ignore, I don't think I have any giveaways here. No, I don't. Well, I kind of do. Just pretend like you guys don't see anything here. I'm looking for, oh, do I not even have what I want in here? Oh, no, I do. All right. So what I like to do when I am on an internal engagement is you're dealing with way more than 5 hosts. Generally, on a real engagement, you might have 40, 50, 100, up to 1,000 different hosts. And when you find credentials, it's always helpful to see, hey, are these credentials valid, number one? And number two, what do they give access to? If you're used to using NetExec just to target a simple server, it's actually very cool. You can pass in multiple host names in order to test credentials. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. We'll do NetExec. I like to use SMB. We could just hit the DC, but I want to show you how we can test access to each one of these servers. So I'm going to do subnet2.text -u. You can actually see this from when I was doing it earlier on stream. We're using NetExec. We want to test access with SMB. We want to target subnet2.text. In other words, we want to try each one of these servers that are in subnet 2. We want to use username SQL service, and this is the password that we found in the user description. And what I like to do first is just say, hey, are there any interesting shares that I can gain access to? Once again, if you've ever done an internal pen test, you know how common it is that the sysadmin, the IT team, whoever they are, might store scripts in a certain share. Those scripts might have hard-coded credentials in them. Not too long ago, I was on an internal pen test. It took me about 30 minutes to get DA because there was an SMB share that anyone could read. And within that SMB share were creds for a service account that had DC sync privileges to the domain controller. You know your Active Directory attacks. You know that DC sync means it's game over. You can dump all the hashes. You could do a golden ticket attack. I don't recommend it in a client environment because how nasty they are as far as persistence goes. But yes, you'd be surprised how common those types of things are in the real world. But here we go. We did our SQL service account with our password SQL service. We dumped shares, and we do have access. We have access to the DC, the share, the CA. You can see what shares we have access to. We have dark haven data and apparently dark heaven data. I don't know if that's the opposite of light heaven, but we have a little bit of information that is worth digging into. So that is how you can get initial access to this, and I'll even just drop this command syntax for you guys. So when I'm able to give you access to this range, you will be able to dig into it. I'm looking over at my chat with the devs, and they're still trying to figure out why your guys' live event will not launch. I will say if you are impatient and you just want access to the range, the way the range works is anyone in all access gets access, unlimited access to the range. So it's $16.99 a month for the annual plan, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to do what I can to be able to give you guys 24 hours of access. Worst case scenario, I'm not able to give you access during this workshop, but as soon as I get the issue resolved with the devs, I will ping in your guys' Discord with the invite link, and then I'll give you a fresh 24 hours so that you can try out this range without having to actually pay anything and likely be able to honestly solve, well, just kicked my desk, honestly be able to solve the range on your own. I want to give you guys a few more hints. How am I doing on time? I'm like way over time. That's fine. The event's supposed to be, is it supposed to be over right now? Oh, well. Hopefully you guys aren't in a rush. You can take all the time you want. All right, beautiful. There's so much on this range that I would love to show you guys. I want to give you a hint, though, once you dig into the range. I want you to note that we just compromised an account called SQL Service. All right, so keep that in mind. We have an account called SQL Service. Okay. If we look over at our network diagram, there is a server called SQL. So maybe, just maybe, if we use our context clues, if we have an account called SQL Service, that account might be able to access an MS SQL database on the SQL server. And then, very simple, I guess I don't know if I would call it simple, something you learn in the early days of the OSCP or CPTS on MS SQL abuse. Of course, if you have access to an MS SQL, you want to check out XP command, see if you can run commands, see if there's any linked databases, see what you're able to do there. Yeah, XP command shell, exactly. So that's my hint to you guys to at least get to the next step. You've compromised a SQL server. We haven't compromised the web server. That might come back into play. You'll notice the flags are not in order. So you really do have to treat this more like a real engagement. Use the information that you find. Once you fully compromise a server, you need to do post-exploitation. Just getting the root flag is not the end game because all of this is interconnected. After you compromise a server, you have to dig into that server, find information that allows you to do lateral movement or privilege escalation as you work your way through the first subnet and then pivot over to this subnet to compromise another domain. So I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. Now, I also want to show you guys, though, the back end, how I made this. What I'm going to do now so I don't cost myself even more money, I'm going to go ahead and stop my range. And I also just want to remind you, when you are working your way through your range, if we would have changed a password or did anything, once again, your progress is saved. The next time I launch my range, all the changes I made are still there. The only time it's going to reset is if you fully reset the network. Just stopping the network, your persistent remains, launch the network in a couple of days later, and all your persistence is still there. Okay, the back end of this platform, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen just while I get logged in. So give me just a moment. How did the stream go? Discord asked me. I'll show you the main platform I use, and then I'll show you what the back end of HackSmarter looks like. And this is actually at a smaller scale. It's uber expensive for me to run HackSmarter because we have so many different machines, so many VMs running. But with your guys' community, I think you have around 2,000 members in Discord. I'm actually not seeing it now, but I thought I saw that on my phone. You guys could create your own smaller platform for your community and run it together, honestly, the same way I do it. Why can't you get sponsors with the idea up and running, though? I'm not sure what you mean by sponsors. Do you mean investors? I do not want investors. It's a personal philosophy of mine, but in my opinion, once a platform gets outside investors, there's a few things that you're going to notice. One, you're going to notice prices are increasing because if someone is investing money, they want a good return on their investment. Number two, you're going to notice a focus on business to business sales rather than business to consumer. Because if you really want to make money, you don't make money for $9 a month for a subscription, right? You make money by selling to businesses. And number three, you'll also see the platform start making certifications because that's also another way you make money. I am not interested in trying to get rich off of HackSmarter. I thoroughly love teaching and making labs available. And so if I can do that, also HackSmarter is heavily subsidized by my pen testing company, which is why I'm able to make the prices so low. So that's why I don't want outside investors. I don't want HackSmarter to be just another freaking business to business corporate platform. It very much is community driven, community rooted, and that's why I want it to stay. Yeah, we have like 10 challenges, probably like 40 to 50 at the end of the year. I love it. Okay, well, let me show this to you guys. Let me share screen again. Go to window, do virtual machine, share. So this is what I use on the back end is Core Stack and a mix of AWS. So you also notice I have AWS pen testing labs on my platform. Those are a little bit different. I spawned them on my own AWS account. Core Stack is a newer company that specializes in what you see me doing, except for I do it in a way that they didn't quite anticipate. But Core Stack is the back end. Let me drop this link here. Core Stack is only ran by 3 people who are all good friends of mine. So when I said I was pinging the backend devs, it's them. I'm in a private Slack channel with just the Core Stack team. And so like they're kind of like employees for me, but I can't actually afford to hire real employees. But they're the closest thing I get to employees, but they're genuinely nice, amazing people. Here's where I don't know if this would work for you guys. You might want to reach out to Core Stack. So I think for what you are doing, the 40 to 50 labs, you could probably do this plan. Oh, well, to give you a little bit of context, like this says 250 credits a month. HackSmarter uses over 20,000 credits a month, and it says 25 labs a month. We have like 4,000 lab launches a month. So like, but I don't think unless you try to promote it publicly, it wouldn't get to that level. I am on a scale plan. So you can see Grow is $200 a month. I pay over $2,500 a month because of how large HackSmarter is compared to some of the other platforms. But I think for what you guys are doing, you could try this or even try the build plan. Alternatively, you just run Docker containers. Exactly. That works as well. Yeah, so you wouldn't have to upgrade to this. Like this is probably overkill for what you're trying to do. But what makes this cool is if you're trying to do full network pen testing labs and things of that nature, I'll show you how it works on the back end. So this is me logged in. And by the way, if you didn't notice, we also have a bunch of free labs, completely free for you to do, even AWS pen testing labs that are completely free. Anyways, here's what it looks like on the back end. There's different ways that you can do this. The way the infrastructure works is you have systems, images, and networks. Keep in mind the backend is just AWS. So if you have AWS experience, it's just EC2s and AMIs. You can go ahead and build, like if I go to systems here, I could launch a system and then I could use one of these base images or an image that I have set up. And then I can connect to it via either VPN or Guacamole in my browser. You configure everything to make it vulnerable. You save the image and then you can essentially launch a lab from that image. Networks, this is new and this is what we are experimenting with. But if I click, for example, into Dark Haven Technology, just the network here, you can see all my different versions of it. There was a few unintended paths that I've been patching, so it's also a good experience to be a sysadmin. You think something is secure and only vulnerable in the way you thought until you have hundreds of hackers trying to hack into it. And they're like, hey, I did this cool attack path that I know you didn't intend. And I'm like, okay, let me put on my sysadmin hat and not let me patch the vulnerability you found without breaking the real attack path. All right, 1 second. I'm responding to the dev real quick. All right, guys. I have good news and bad news. All right. Bad news is the dev said that they don't think this is something they can fix like immediately. So they have to dig into what's causing it. They don't even know by initial glance. But the good news is as soon as this is fixed, it sounds like it should be fixed within the next 2 hours. But as soon as I get confirmation that this weird bug is fixed, I'm going to make you guys a new event so that the 24 hours starts over and I'll ping you guys. So as soon as that is working, I'm still going to give you guys all 24 hours of completely free access to the Dark Haven range, no strings attached. You just have to get the devs to fix the weird bug where it's not launching within the event itself and only launching on the main platform. So as soon as that is fixed, once again, I will drop the link in Discord, pass it over to my friend A there, and we'll get you guys access to it. Anyways, in the back end, this is what I really love about the network. So you can see I have all these different versions. So there's a little bit of version control if I want to go back to a different version. If I click into edit here is how it looks. So I could actually make more subnets if I wanted to and essentially drag and drop. It's very cool. So if I do this plus icon right here, note that I can make a new subnet if we wanted to do like pivoting type things. I could grab one of these images that I want to drop in and then configure it. And then like if I want to configure a machine, like let's say I want to configure the web machine, I can just go ahead and start it. And I just gave you guys the admin cred. So if you want to cheat and just log in as admin on it, have your way. We started and then we can connect to it and all of that stuff works good. So I think like hosting it in Proxmox and things of that nature is honestly fine for a smaller environment. The reason I had to go with a core stack and using AWS is I'll just give you an example. Like yesterday, for most of the day, we had over 100 different servers running all at the same time. And I don't want to try to on-prem that and deal with the scale and the growth of all of it. So it's expensive for me to host this for everyone, but my pen testing company subsidizes HackSmarter so I can keep HackSmarter cheap. But I don't ever want outside investors. I have zero plans of ever selling HackSmarter. Like I've saw some people mention that like maybe I'm building this platform so I can be the next Vuln Lab. So then Hack the Box can acquire me. I'm good friends with Hack the Box, and I have told them like, guys, I'm going to buy Hack the Box. You're not buying HackSmarter. Obviously joking. I can't afford Hack the Box, but that's what's going to happen. I'll build Hack the Box so big. We'll be massive. And then I'll buy HackSmarter, and then I'll make Vuln cheap again. And then that's the grand master plan. It's really just to take over Vuln because I was such a big fan of Vuln. Or I'll build an AI agent based on your data. One of the two things, right? One of the two things will end up happening. But this is the back end of the platform. If you guys want to see, like on HackSmarter, since I can't give you guys the 24 hours of free time right now, if you want to check out our other labs, a lot of them are free. So anything that's free is free. The ones that aren't free is because they're Active Directory and they just take more resources for me to host. But I want to show you guys another kind of cool thing about HackSmarter. We go to course material. I think triathlon is a good example. So even the standalone labs, many of them are multi-machine. So for example, triathlon here, you can see it is 3 machines chained together. What's very cool about like triathlon, for example, I'm not going to scroll down too much because I don't want to give away the flag. Oh, there's going to be the flag there. You actually have to use real OSINT to get initial access to this. You'll see kind of the free preview, or not the free preview. On the flag, you'll see a hint there, and you'll use OSINT in order to get access. So cool things like that. Most of our labs aren't just one machine. It's multi-machine, but they're not as big as our range where you have all these different machines that are connected together. Show us a nice free one if you want. We could. Trying to think of a good free one to showcase. All right, let me look at chat. Honestly, it's been an hour. And I guess I do have a stopping point in about 30 minutes. I have to pick my kids up from school. Since we're in such crazy different time zones. So maybe let's transition to the Q&A time. You guys have access to the platform. Check out the free labs. Every single lab has multiple walkthroughs to help you solve it if you get stuck. The other content is we have like challenge labs and then guided labs. Guided labs are, well, as they sound, guided. They walk you through it. Challenge labs is most of what we have. Like this is a solid one. If you guys want to check out a completely free lab, it's a Linux-based one called Get Oops. It's a cool lab. I think you guys will enjoy it. Medium rated, but hack into it, hack all the things. Let me stop streaming for now, and we'll transition to a Q&A time. Once again, I do want to apologize to you guys that I couldn't get you access to the range. That would have been a lot cooler if you guys could hack alongside of me, but you will have access. As soon as the devs fix it, I'll give you guys 24 hours of free access. But if you guys have any questions for me, either about HackSmarter, about Kairos, entrepreneurship, business ownership, my story, I I went sort of viral in the niche cybersecurity area, like not global viral because most people don't care, but you may have seen a video I made about try hack me. I'm happy to answer any questions about that and to give further context on that, or even if you're like Tyler, you're stupid, I don't like you, and here's why. I'm totally fine with that as well. So if you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I have about probably 15 minutes. It's a stupid questions I didn't read into the situation. All right, let's see it. Or even my connection to TryHackMe. I have a long history with TryHackMe. What would be wrong with the newbie getting a free THM account and training on it? Nothing. There's nothing wrong. So if you guys watch the video, I try to make this as clear as possible. Ben Spring himself said, if you want to opt out of this AI process, like this of us using your data for AI, if you want to opt out, the way you opt out is by deleting your account. So I was like, hey, here is what TryHackMe is doing, using your data to build a second company called NoScope that advertises itself as an alternative to human-led pen testing. And I said, I think this is odd that the company is actively trying to replace the very people they've been trying to train. Ben Spring's own words were, if you don't like that and you want to opt out, delete your account. So there's nothing wrong with passing TryHackMe to a newbie. I'm actually good friends with many of the staff at TryHackMe. I was never employed by TryHackMe, never worked for them, but I did a lot of partnerships and I was on their QA team. You can watch the video, I explain all of that. So there's nothing wrong with it. But I do think that the community should be aware of how their data is being used and they should make the decision on their own. And that's also the thing I emphasize. Like if you watch the video itself, I don't promote HackSmarter in the video. I try to be objective as possible. And everything that I said, I use primary sources that anyone can look up so that the reader or the viewer can make their own decision. For someone who's a newbie and just is trying to get into cybersecurity, go ahead. And for those of you guys, make your own decision. If you disagree with the leadership at TryHackMe, the employee culture is another thing that we can talk about. But if you disagree with it, Ben Spring's own words were delete your account. So I just told people, listen to Ben and delete your account if you have issues with this. If you don't have issues with that, it's fine. The other thing, like the employee culture thing, I recognize that using Glassdoor is crazy subjective because anyone can post on Glassdoor. But I also recognize that big companies with a lot of money can be lawsuit happy. So I had to be very careful how I spoke in that video. So if you watch the video, you would have noticed that I was like, hey, this is my interpretation. This is my opinion based on the public information that's available. What I can't share is, in addition to those Glassdoor things, I am personal friends with many of the former staff and even former leaders at TryHackMe. So I'm not going to name drop at all because I don't want to disrespect their privacy, but there are names of people that all of you would actually know if I said their name, who reached out to me with concerns. And then after I made the video, reached out and thanked me for shining a light on the culture and the practices at TryHackMe. Oh, and even current employees as well. So the employee culture thing, the toxic leadership at TryHackMe is evident on Glassdoor, but it's been strongly confirmed to me by personal friends that I have at TryHackMe. I just can't share that in a video because then either one, I'm throwing somebody under the bus, or number two, TryHackMe is going to try to sue me for libel because I'm using a third party to come after them. So when you're doing public criticism of a company, you don't want to get sued. You have to be very clear that all the sources you use are public information available to anyone. If you're trying to use secret or hidden information, that's what can lead to libel. So there's just more context there that I literally can't talk about without having a multi-million-dollar company come try to sue me. All right, let me scroll up. Why did you choose pen tester? That's a good question. I've always had an interest in ethical hacking. Before there was TryHackMe, before there was Hack the Box, before there was VulnLab, there was a website called hackthisSite.org that is still around today. HackThisSite.org was founded by Jeremy Hammond, not John Hammond, not related to John Hammond. If you know hacker culture, you know like Jeremy Hammond is like the real Mr. Robot. He worked with LulzSec, with Sabu, which kind of a crazy story. Me and Sabu used to work at the same place, so I know Sabu. That was his hacker name, Hector, but Sabu somewhat well. But Jeremy Hammond was part of LulzSec. It was believed that Sabu sort of betrayed them to the feds. Anyways, Jeremy Hammond got arrested, spent 20 years in prison, recently got out, but he founded HackThisSite.org, and that's where I got my start. So I was about 13, 14 years old. This would have been back in 2007. I'm 32 now, and me and my buddy would pull like all-nighters, not gaming, but learning hacking. Actually, I got banned from using computers when I was in high school, so I've always had a strong interest in hacking, ethical hacking. And so then when I realized I could make a living hacking companies and not go to prison, I was like, this is sweet. So that's the TLDR of how I got, why I like pen testing. I said, I agree with your points about THM, just a call to action is a bit harsh for me. That's fair. Totally fair. I'm quite curious about what data exactly is being used, since the only data we put into it is whatever we chat to Echo, right? No, it would not be what you chat to Echo. It'd be telemetry information and the commands run against their machines. So, for example, if you're attacking a machine on TryHackMe and you're running commands against it, those things are being logged, and that would be the data that is being used, I think. I want to be very clear, though. I'm not a TryHackMe employee. I don't know what data is being used because TryHackMe has not been transparent about what data is being used or not being used. One thing that made me angry, and you saw this in the video, is I raised concerns about this privately. The concerns were brushed off. Ben posted on LinkedIn saying, TryHackMe's data, it's misinformation, believing that TryHackMe data is being used for the new AI agent. He then launches NoScope 2 months later and brags on the NoScope page that the data is millions of users' journeys from TryHackMe. So I was like, dude, you are directly contradicting yourself after calling my initial concerns misinformation, which just made me angry. Rightfully or wrongfully, it did. The biggest problem is you do have a competing platform, so that taints the message a bit. It's true. It's very valid. Was not my goal to make a hit piece to promote HackSmarter. I don't like, for example, Hack the Box doesn't see me as a competitor. Home Labs doesn't see me as a competitor. Cyber doesn't see me as a competitor, and I don't see them as competitors. I also, if I'm competing with anyone, it's Hack the Box. TryHackMe is very much like noob-friendly CTF, honestly, unrealistic CTFs. I don't think HackSmarter was ever like stealing TryHackMe people. If anything, we're competing with Hack the Box. There's some actually really cool partnerships. I can't share these right now, but really cool partnerships that might eventually come to fruition between us and Hack the Box. Maybe. Nothing I can share there. I don't know if it will actually happen, but I just say all that like I'm a huge fan of Hack the Box, and the Hack the Box team is a huge fan of HackSmarter as an example. So yes, I'm technically a competitor of TryHackMe, but keep in mind, I'm one person. TryHackMe is like a 200-person, multi-million-dollar company. If they are intimidated by me, some guy with a camera who likes to make labs, and if they see HackSmarter as a competitor, that's a them problem, not a me problem. But I do recognize that, Kurgash. Nothing I can do about it. But what I would point out to you is the initial video I made about this was 6 months ago. I did not have a platform or labs or any financial incentive to make a video about TryHackMe. But I made that video 6 months ago about the initial TryHackMe AI data thing. So this isn't just something I got fired up about one time just now and made a video. I've been calling this out for the past 6 months. And if you look at the timeline, we launched labs on HackSmarter like in October, along those lines. 6 or 7 months ago is when I first called it out. Okay, A said, how do you think AI will affect junior pen tester roles, and what would your advice be to someone who's looking to get into pen testing? An excellent question. I think it depends on the pen testing firm. I can only tell you about my experience. My experience, especially recently with clients, is they are very much concerned about how AI is being used when I'm pen testing their products. Now, you need to recognize that Kairos is what's called a boutique pen testing firm. It means that we focus on quality and not quantity. It also means that we are not the cheapest. So you need to recognize that the clients that I work with are much more security conscious than other clients who just want to run a pen test to get the compliance check mark so they can be done with compliance. The companies that are only looking for compliance probably have very little concerns of how AI is being used in the pen testing process. My clients, though, have specifically asked Tyler, how is Kairosec using AI agents when you are doing your pen test? How is that information is client information being passed to third parties such as OpenAI and Claude Code? Because let's be real, most of the AI agents that companies advertise are just wrappers around those other third parties. So as a pen tester, you need to make sure you are upfront with the client about their data. If their data is being passed to OpenAI or Gemini or Claude Code, and you don't tell the client about that, you have a lawsuit on your hands. And if you do tell the client about that, a lot of security conscious clients are a little bit uncomfortable with that. So just keep that in mind when it comes to using AI in pen testing. If you are a pen tester, run a pen testing firm, blah, 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 blah. To answer your question, how it will affect junior pen testers, I do think that AI is like a much more advanced version of Nessus. Nessus does a very good job of getting a bunch of low-hanging bugs when you're looking at an external or an internal network with a lot of hosts. I think AI will ramp that up significantly and do a lot of the kind of tedious tasks that a pen tester would normally do at the beginning of an engagement. Where pen testing really shines is the human context, business logic flaws, things of that nature. I personally do not see AI being able to replicate that level of a pen tester anytime soon, but I do admit for junior pen testers, just like junior developers, it was always an uphill battle to get into pen testing, let's be honest. And I think it's more of an uphill battle with the advent of AI. So that's where I think for junior pen testers or who want to break into the field, that's where it takes more than the OSCP. That's where I really do think you need to have CVEs, you need to do security research. If you're able to lead a workshop or even speak at a platform, that helps as well. If you have a YouTube channel or a blog, that helps as well. It's just making the hiring process more difficult because what would have taken, I don't know, 5 pen testers can maybe be done now with 3 pen testers with AI, automating some of the more tedious manual tasks that you would have before passed to a junior pen tester. I don't know if that answers your question. That's a long way to say that I don't know for sure, but I don't believe AI is going to replace pen testing anytime soon. And any company that advertises fully automated AI pen testing, it's just the same companies that in the past would do a Nessus scan and call it a pen test. You get what you pay for when it comes to pen testing. I hope that's helpful. All right, let me scroll up. Are there any labs or rooms for purple teamers, or do you recommend any other platforms? HackSmarter is very much pen testing specific, but we do have one blue team lab. One blue team lab so far. We have more coming. We have a blue teamer who's creating labs for us. As far as for purple teaming, so here's the problem. I try to only speak into things that I have actual experience with. I was a blue teamer for like 7 months. I was a senior analyst. I did some Active Directory hardening, nothing like super cool, but I don't do a lot of blue team labs, so I don't feel qualified to recommend blue team platforms. I've heard good things about like Cyber Defenders and Let's Defend, Hack the Box's CDSA. I've heard good things about. I just can't give you a personal recommendation there. I've heard many people being able to see it as anything as but bad press commercial, which it isn't. I mean, the vast majority of the people from what I see on comments, Reddit, blah blah blah, with my Try Hack Me video, understand the reasoning. They do the research themselves, but I totally understand the perspective that hey, there's this guy out there who has his own platform who's doing a hit piece on Try Hack Me. I will say I think a lot of the people making that conclusion haven't actually watched the video. They see the thumbnail and then they make a conclusion and write it off. Usually when they watch the video and consider the arguments, they will say, well, there's still a conflict of interest maybe, but he seems to be making a valid point. At least that tends to be people's reaction. But guys, seriously, I did not expect this to get to this level. You need to recognize that most of my YouTube videos have like 500 views. Some of my real popular ones might get to 1,000 or 2,000 views. My one about when I first tried to address a Try Hack Me AI data thing 6 or 7 months ago, I think got to like 2,000 views. I freaking made that video on Thursday or Friday, and it's currently at over 50,000 views. I have made almost 900 YouTube videos. I've never had anything blow up like that. So I had no idea that reaction would happen. If it did, honestly, I don't know if I would have made the video because my goal was not to make a full PR nightmare for Try Hack Me. I tried to address it privately and I was like, fine, if you don't want to listen to it privately, let's let the community, let's let the jury of public opinion in the hacker community see the screenshot, see the public information, and make a decision themselves. But then it blew up on YouTube. Then I saw it being spread on X. I don't even use freaking X. I saw people posting about it on Reddit. It was the front page of our cybersecurity for like on Saturday on the weekend, like things that I was not ever expecting to happen. But it is what it is. I hope Try Hack Me listens. I highly doubt it. Ben banned me from Try Hack Me's Discord for causing unnecessary drama. So I don't know if they'll listen or not. But just to show you guys how non-anti Try Hack Me I'm in, HackSmarter, our mod team on HackSmarter has current Try Hack Me staff members who are good friends of mine. So like, I'm not like some Try Hack Me hater trying to just cause mass mayhem out here. Ben Sec said, how is your networking knowledge? Do you refresh your knowledge occasionally by obtaining certificates, for example? Personal opinion. Totally fine disagreeing with me. In my opinion, certifications are really good for getting your foot into the field, your foot in the door. I totally combine two different things there. Certifications are good for landing that initial job. Once you have a job as a pen tester and you're doing pen tests day in and day out, you don't necessarily need certifications to show your work history. What I would suggest is do the training for those certifications, like do the training for like Hack the Box's advanced AD cert. But if you're doing AD pen testing, you don't need the cert. Do all the training and then demonstrate it by doing real pen testing. If you want to show something on your resume, I think CVEs look better than certifications. So do real security research or do tool development, publish tools. If you look at Paku, which is a big tool for AWS pen testing, I'm one of the top contributors to Paku in the past year. I'm one of the top contributors to CloudGoat in the past year. So I think rather than doing certification stacking, yes, continue to learn, but demonstrate your learning by doing security research, finding CVEs, doing tool development, helping with open source tool development. I think that's better for your career long term. Oh, you made me a personal thank you song? All right, Nimble. I'm gonna watch this right now. Watching it right now, then I'll answer questions. This is awesome. I don't think you guys can probably hear this over my microphone, but the song is awesome. You didn't mention that my whole demo failed though when the range wouldn't launch in the free live event I tried to make, but I appreciate that. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for making that. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys. All right, let me hit a few more of these questions. Any plans on developing hardware hacking tools? No, I don't do hardware hacking. I do have like, oh, I can't show this to you guys because it has his address on it. Andrew, Digital Andrew, aka Andrew Bellini over at TCM, who does all their hardware stuff. He sent me some hardware hacking gear that we're going to do a live stream on. Andrew is also, hopefully in the near future, going to make some hardware hacking labs for HackSmarter, where we emulate some hardware on an EC2 and teach hardware hacking that way. But I don't do hardware hacking. I know almost nothing about it, but Andrew does. And so hopefully we'll have some content there. Yeah, I don't know if THM is backed by investors. I really have no idea about that, William. All right, scrolling. So guys, I see more questions. We don't hear you. Oh, it's 48 hours now. I see. Guys, I'm so sorry. I have to bounce in just a minute to go pick up my kids from school, but I want to do something cool for you guys. Let me log into HackSmarter on my other monitor. So I did this over the weekend for people, but I want to do it just for your guys' community. Let me give all of you 1 month of completely free access to our hands-on labs. Now, this is not going to include courses, but it will include all the hands-on labs that you saw. I'm going to create a coupon specifically for your guys' community. I'm going to have it, just so it's not valid forever, though, I'm going to have it expire tomorrow. So you'll have to use this now in order to get to work. Give me just a moment. Bund subscription, yeah, subscriptions, hands-on labs. Expire this coupon. We'll expire it tomorrow at end of day. Subscription duration ones. Okay. Now, first of all, this is gonna look like I'm trying to trick you guys. I want to be very clear that I'm not. Okay. Let me first drop this in here. So that voucher right there, go to hacksmarter.org, select hands-on labs, the monthly subscription, enter that voucher, and the first month is free. But there's something very important I need you to pay attention to, okay? I cannot modify the Stripe settings on the back-end platform, which means if you do not cancel your subscription, you will be charged a month from now. But what you can do is as soon as you set up your subscription, go to your profile and cancel it if you don't want an accidental charge. If you go to your profile and cancel it, it'll still be valid for the next 30 days, but you won't be charged at the end of the period. I will also say if you forget to do that and you are accidentally charged 30 days from now, just shoot me an email and I will fully refund the charge. So like, I'm not trying to trick you guys. I'm not trying to get you to accidentally subscribe to the platform so I can take your money. To be very clear, if you are charged because you forget to cancel, seriously, just shoot me an email and I will have the support team 100% refund anything that you paid. I just want you to have the ability for 1 month to try out all the labs. No strings attached. I'm not harvesting your data. I'm not going to build an AI agent out of your data. But I apologize. If I could do it in such a way that it was only one time and didn't require the purchase information, I would, but that's controlled by CourseStack and then Stripe. It's something outside of my control. So the best I can do is tell you to cancel your subscription, and then I can refund you if you forget to do it. So, not trying to trick you guys. No, it's not all access. Guys, I wish I could give just free out to all access, but all access comes with access to all the courses, all the Hack With Me's, and the range. And I would literally go broke if I gave away all access all the time for free. But this will give you 1 month. It is valid on Stripe. So when you go to check out, there'll be like a little spot for a gift card, or I don't know what they call it, coupon or whatever. Enter that in, and your first month will be free. And then finally, CourseStack, the backend developers, Chris, who's actually the founder of CourseStack, just pinged me, say, hey, I'll update you as soon as we have a fix and know what's going on. So then in addition to that free month of the hands-on labs, as soon as we have a fix to that exclusive event for you guys to give you 24 hours of access to Dark Haven, I'll ping in your guys' Discord and share it with you, and I'll reset it as well. So you get a full 24 hours to experience Dark Haven for your community. Once again, no strings attached. I'm not trying to like do anything here besides I really love teaching. I think you'll really enjoy the platform, and I want you guys to have the opportunity to hack all the things and learn. Hey, Kurgash, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate you. And then also for A, Hey, after I get back from my kids, I'll ping you on Discord, and I'll give you like maybe 5 vouchers to give away in the community. You give them away however you want, but I'll give you 5 vouchers that give hands-on labs, but for the entire year. So those ones will be valid for 12 months. You won't have to pay anything for an entire year to get access to all of the labs. So I'll pass you like 5 vouchers that you can give away in your community. But just give me a little bit because I do have to go get my kids from school and all that fun stuff, and then I'll pass it over to you. But okay, guys, thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Also want to encourage you with the hands-on labs. If you guys want to live stream it, there's no restrictions. Share it with the world. All that good stuff.
Thank you, Tyler, as well, for this amazing talk. We're glad having you here as well. And have a great day. The rest of your day.
Awesome. You guys as well. Peace out.
Bye-bye, man.